one big storyline, and the big storyline is, of course, Dylan the Butcher Fawsitt. He is going to be making his 100th appearance, the first in MLR history to do so, and we thought, well, we're going to go and speak to the big man. Good mate of mine. I sat down with Dylan to talk about his history, his memories, his achievements, and what he Dylan the Butcher Fawsitt, one of the GOATs of MLR, a good pal of mine. How are you, buddy? Thanks for joining us on the Rugby Rundown. Fresh off a win at the weekend as well. You must be in good spirits.
Great spirits, Will. It's great to see you, man. I heard you had a tough travel day yesterday. You know, it's tough getting all the way back to
Your words,
Carlsbad.
not mine.
You know, tough times going back to paradise, but I'm sure you're fine.
Hey, look, this is about you. This is not about me. This is about you becoming the first in MLR history to 100 appearances in the league. When I just say it like that, but how does that settle in with you? I know you're a humble guy and everything, but it's a pretty amazing accomplishment.
I feel very lucky, Will, you know, about being the first, obviously, but like, you know, I'd be lying if I didn't say this was like I had a goal. You know, I've always had a goal to smash these records and do what I need to do. But, you know, I've always known if I'm smashing records, then the team is doing well. You know, so it's been a bloody dream, and feel very lucky to have been a part of this league from the very start. You know, and so to be the first to 100, like, yeah, like I said, it's special.
That, man, you smashed records. I mean, I'm going to just list a few off here at the moment. Not just the appearances coming up this weekend being the 100th, 57 tries overall in the league. You're 15 ahead of the person in second. 41 of them alone were when you were with the New York Ironworkers, or Rugby United New York as we were back in the day. Nearly 1,000 tackles made, nearly 3,000 metres gained. You were four-time player of the season, or in the first team for MLR, team of the season, I should say, and one time in the second team of the season as well for MLR. Man, that, you say as a goal, that GOAT status of our league. I mean, that must be pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, it is. It's absolutely awesome, you know. But they're all going to get smashed eventually, Will. But like, if I keep going, you know, and like I said, if I keep going, keep adding to those, you know, the team's going to be ticking, and we're going to have a great season with Chicago. So like, that's number one.
Now, so let's go back a little way. You mentioned that you've been from the league from the start. Glendale Raptors, those are the days. Then going to New York, and now obviously Chicago. Take me back a little bit of your memories of the early MLR years, almost then to where you are now.
Yeah, it's cowboy stuff, you know. At the start, you know, it was truly adapt and overcome any situation, you know, because you believed in the product, you believed in yourself, and you believed that like we were going to please God, inspire a nation, you know, to fall in love with the game that we love, you know. So to get any opportunity to, you know, spearhead that was just a dream come true, you know. So yeah, early memories, like, I mean, I'm sure there's not enough time on the show for stuff like that, and you know, I might bring out a book later on. You know, I think my ma would read it.
You've got a few stories in there. You can give us maybe one, just one or two of early times.
No, I think some of the great stuff was being a part of the New York dream. You know, being a part of Rugby New York to Rugby United to the Ironworkers, and that whole that was it was truly a dream. But unfortunately, that came crashing down. You know, and you know, through the ashes, you know, come the roses of success, you know, and I'm at Chicago now, and we're really driving at becoming a driving force in the league, and you know, it really is it's exciting. It's exciting time as well.
Now, you mentioned about New York there. Tell me a little bit about it, because I know it was an interesting one for you. You've literally been in the league since day one, and this team sort of fell apart, and then to sort of pick up and go to Chicago. Like, when you reflect back on that, how difficult was it?
Yeah, it's something I don't like to really think about and reflect on, because it was so hard to take at the time. You know, it was tough on my family. You know, it was something that, you know, I'll never be able to go back to the house that Dad built, because it won't be there anymore. You know, to show my kids, and you know that, you know, Dad worked bloody hard with a lot of great men to do something really special, and you know there won't be anything there to show for it. But you know, I'll still have those relationships. I'll still have the, you know, the connections I made, like until you're in it, you'll never really be able to express it, and use the words to show that great men like yourself, Will, over the years, we had some good times, blood, sweat, and tears, and all that. But it really was, and there's stuff like that. You'll never forget.
Now you played with some absolute superstars. The likes of Andy Ellis, of course, captain that side New York team. Milner Scudder played with Ben Foden. We had Fodes on the show. Spoke so highly of you. Well, kind of. The one time when he had to live in your apartment, apparently. But when you look back, like all these great names, is there someone who stands out in particular? The people that you've played with over those years.
Oh, well, you talked about Ben and Andy there. They were like, truly not the heroes that we deserved, but the heroes we needed, at the time, and they were just unbelievable. You couldn't get better men. Completely different in their own right, but it was absolutely truly a special time to have those as my teammates, and then just showing you the way in certain ways. Like Fodes is a complete chameleon. He'll adapt to all surroundings, and then Andy literally, he lights up the room. He will inspire you to do great things. So just to learn so much from those lads, and to have them in your corner, I was bloody lucky.
Do you also feel like you've seen such a generation of players as well in Major League Rugby from, again, those beginning days? You were like the father figure to Caleb Geiger, who's now, of course, at the Free Jacks, but you were with him in New York. Like, as you've transcended with the league and you really are one of the most experienced guys now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Caleb there at the weekend. I think he played 70 minutes, and I think his positive contributions were the best in the league last week, and I see that, and I look at not just my mate, who I know is such a great man, but like just so bloody proud of him because the hard work that he puts in, But for me, like you become that guy that's there to help. Whatever wisdom I have and whatever knowledge of the game I have, I'm going to give to those around me, and to be honest, I'll give everything to everybody. It doesn't matter. I know that whatever I give, it's going to make everyone better around me, and whatever the team needs to succeed at the end of the day.
Now, I'm going to slip this question in here now. Obviously, as you are such a well-known face. Can you give viewers and listeners the story as to why you are called the Butcher? Because I always heard it was a bit of a self-proclaimed thing, but why are you known as the Butcher, Dylan Fawsitt?
That's probably not for this show, Will, but thanks. That's a good try, my friend. That's a good try. We'll go with self-proclaimed for the moment, but I'm sure that story will come out in due course.
Oh, we'll save that for after the 9 p.m. watershed. If you could take yourself back to one or two occasions in your MLR career, what would you say are the highlights?
I think being able to live in Hoboken, and have my son, there, and I think, as much as my wife had maybe not didn't appreciate it at the time, but you know, my son was born on a Friday, and I was on the plane the next day to go down and beat Atlanta at the time, and it was just, it's something I'll never forget to be able to do that, and having the back end of the club to, come down a bit later to come down and get the job done, stuff like that. I can tell you about championships and I can tell you about wins, but it was truly the journey and being a part of such great teams with such great characters like the boys. I know I'm coming to the end of my career, and that they'll be the days that I'll miss the most. You know, I love competing. I love being on that field. No, more than most. Trust me on that. But being able to have that beer after a game and look your mates in the eye and know that you put in a shift and you gave it your all. There's not much sweeter. So yeah, I mean, like truly, I've been the privileged one over the years.
Now, this team that you're in now, Chicago Hounds, the second season, big things are expected of the Hounds. You just missed out on the championship final last year, losing, of course, to the Free Jacks at their place in the playoffs. Some great recruitment. Great first win. Touch on that a little bit away at Houston, considering you got battered in preseason. And then this upcoming game against Utah. What are the goals for the Hounds and you as one of the leaders this year?
No, I mean, there's the ultimate goal is to bring it home. Like that has to be it. And I'm not going to beat around the bush here. That's all the reason why we play the game. But Yeah, I mean, I noticed there was some dodgy punditry on the rugby rundown last week, but you know, we all
Mate,
go there.
we're
Um,
just calling it as we saw it from preseason. It looked like you guys were garbage in Houston preseason. You
yeah.
turned it around. Well, yeah, how good was that? What happened there?
Ah, man, you know, I think one of the lucky things that we had, which was such a well done preseason, we nailed it. We've had three opportunities to play together. Finally started getting it together there at the weekend, you know, and it showed. You know, there were probably sometimes when we went down where like, you know, a team that hadn't been together long enough may have crumbled, you know, and to be able to withstand the storm and come back again and keep coming was, you know, and the energy with the lads on the field was just, it was infectious, you know. So the boys are really putting it in, and you know, the fruits of the labor is getting the win and being delighted with it, because it's not easy going down to Houston, especially you know, over the years. It's a tough place. They're very proud down there. So yeah, it was definitely one of those special wins.
You now looking forward to this Utah game. Is the occasion? Are you going to take in the occasion to be the 100th? You know, the first one to 100th, or knowing you, is it pure business on the weekend, or can you just allow yourself maybe a moment just to reflect? And this is pretty cool.
You know, over the years, Will, you were there with me in 2018 when we went to Dublin and we played Ireland, you know, and I think one of the greatest lessons that day was like, if I had let that occasion overcome me, I would never have been able to perform that day. So, you know, I've had some great days even before that, but I've always been about business, always about getting the job done, you know, and those days are all the sweeter when you get the result that you deserve. So, but you have to go out and you have to go out and get it, Will, and that'll be very much. I'll be nailing my job because I know, like, you know, the spotlight will very much be on me. I will take it all in and I'll embrace it, but knowing that I'll be even better than I have to be on that day.
I guess the final thing I'll leave you with is you've seen it, Major League Rugby over these 8 seasons now, and as I say, your 100 caps. How much has it grown? And you were talking there but earlier about saying that this might be the end. You know, tell me, one thing I will give you is you stuck with MLR. There's no doubt about that. I know you're obviously your Irish history with playing back in Ireland, and this was maybe your second chance. But like, how has it grown, and how appreciative are you to the league to be part of it on all this journey? And hey, this might be the end coming up after this season.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny you say that. Oh, I stuck with the MLR. No, the MLR stuck with me. You know, I truly am so bloody lucky for the time I've had here. You know, to have been a part of something from the start, to leave my mark is truly special. This is something that my kids and my family will be able to look back on and know that Dad put in a hell of a shift. But to see where it's come, to see the investment, you know, the owners can be really proud, the board, all that sort of stuff, the lads in the MLR office, and guys like you fronting and showing, you know, showing off the talent is really driving it forward. But it's the fans really at the end of the day. You know, if you're not going to get the bums on seats, there's no point. And that's one thing I do, Will. I'll get the bums on seats, you know. So as long as I can keep doing that, you know, there'll be a job for me. But right now, the only job I have is to go out and perform against Utah this weekend.
Man, you're an absolute legend. You are a legend of Major League Rugby. You've deserved this. I know, from a mate to a mate. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Good luck. And Butch, thanks for joining us on the Rugby Rundown. All the best on your 100th coming up this weekend.
Cheers, Will.